Hello and welcome to the PhotoVidShow tutorials version 4.41. In today's tutorial, which is the last in this series, we're going to show you how you can have multiple slideshows on your project or your final output disk. Also, I'm going to show you how you can have more than one menu, and also how you can have something called a pre-menu slideshow. Okay, now up to now we've only had one slideshow per project, but PhotoVidShow does allow you to add multiple slideshows to your project. Now there is a limit to the number of slideshows you can have on your disk. Normally you can have, I would say, up to about 1,000 slides or 1,000 of these pictures per disk. So if you have one slideshow and it has a lot of pictures on it or it takes a lot of time, you may want to just leave it at that. If your slideshow is only short, like ones here, we're only 5-minute long ones, there's nothing wrong with adding another slideshow here and so on and so forth. Now, to add additional slideshows to your project, what you need to do is make sure you're on a disk type output like DVD video. Select the disk menu button here to make sure we can see the disk menu, and the menu structure tab is highlighted on the left. We can then select add new slideshow here. As you can see, it's now added a new slideshow here. To select which slideshow we wish to edit in our storyboard, you just left click here simply on which slideshow you want. So left click on the France holiday there and left click there for our new holiday. So once we've added in our new slideshow, we can add photos as per normal. So maybe we want to add some wedding photos, and we can change the text here. Now, because we've added a new slideshow, PhotoVidShow has automatically adjusted the layout. We discussed this on a previous tutorial where we have different layouts here where our slideshow buttons are positioned. When you add additional slideshows, you can see it will automatically adjust our layout to fit the number of slideshows we have in our menu. You can have up to 6 slideshows per menu. So also, some of you may have noticed that because we edited our menu before we changed our layout, that some of the text doesn't quite match. So if I just go here and up the transparency, so it now matches that one. Now I can continue adding more slideshows, as we see here, but if we've added one by mistake and you wish to delete it, select the slideshow you wish to delete. You can either right click and select delete slideshow, or you can select delete slideshow from the menu structure tab, which we're going to do there. I'm going to change our layout again. There we go, something like that. Now, something useful to know also is that you can do an import slideshow. What you can do is import slideshow from a different PhotoVidShow project file. So if you've created a holiday in another project, which you did previously, and you want to merge it into this project file and have it as another option on our DVD menu, then what you need to do is select the import slideshow button here. I want to import my Florida holiday pictures, which I believe was this one. Once you select that, it asks you which slideshows in that project file you wish to import. I've only got one slideshow in that project, so I've ticked that and I'm going to select import. As you can see, it's now added my slideshow to the menu. So we now have 3 slideshows in our menu. You may want to change the order they're listed. At the moment we've got them listed as France, wedding and Florida. If you want to change the order this list appears in, if you right click on any of these slideshow buttons, you can actually say move up or move down order. So like that. So say we're happy with that. Now additional features you'll see once you have multiple slideshows in your project is that if you right click on a slide, you'll notice that you can actually, I'm not sure if you can see this, you can actually move or copy that slide to a different slideshow. So as you can see, we can move or copy this slide to, say if we move this to our Florida one. I mean, obviously this doesn't make sense for now, but this is just to show for example. And if I go to my Florida slideshow, you can see it's probably added on the end. So I'm just going to undo that because that's not what I want to do. Now there is also another way to change which slideshow you wish to highlight. Normally you could just left click on here to select a slideshow, but there is also a list of your slideshows up here in this little box here. Now at the moment we've got all our slideshows in one menu under the title of Holidays 2015, but maybe we want our wedding slideshow to appear in a different menu. So maybe in this menu we want a way to navigate to another menu where we can view more slideshows. You can do this by going to the menu structure tab and selecting add new submenu, which I'm going to do now. As you can see, it's automatically added a navigation button to our menu. So there are two ways to navigate to our new menu. Either left click on the white arrow here, as you can see, or you can actually, on that right tick by the disk menu, it now lists in effect a sort of structure of all our menus. So we've got the top menu here. I'll cover a disk intro in a minute, and we've got our sub menu here. So we go to sub menu and there's our new sub menu here. I'm just going to as we saw previously, you can now change the menu theme with these navigation and highlight buttons. So perhaps I don't like the menu navigation button, I can simply change them here. Perhaps we want something like that instead, and we'll change the one in this menu. So that's how you can change these little menu navigation buttons here. So initially we wanted our wedding slideshow in this second menu. So what you can do is simply right click on your slideshow you wish to move to another menu and select move to menu 2. There we go. So it's now moved it to menu 2. This blank slideshow here we no longer want, so we can delete this. Now if you ever want to delete a menu, you simply just remove all the slideshows inside that menu. So if I was to move this back to menu 1 or simply delete this slideshow, it will then remove that sub menu. I'm just going to correct the layout again on this menu. So something like that. Also I'm going to correct transparency. This is why you should really do the structure of your menus before you actually customize your fonts and stuff like that, else you'll be constantly changing it like I am. So there we go, we got our menu 1, and there's our this is our second menu, which I'm going to customize a bit more. As you can see, you can play around. Perhaps you want something like this, and you want a different background. Select a different background. Maybe you want something like that. So we can have a second menu something like this. So the second menu contains our wedding pictures, and menu 1 contains our holiday slideshow. Now I'm going to show you something we discussed on an earlier tutorial about some navigation buttons. Now if we created this DVD disc now and we played it on our standalone player, what we could do is we could select a slideshow to play. But sometimes you want to say, well, I want it to play all the slideshows on my disc. So what you can do is add a play all button. Right, go into this navigation thing here and add in here. Now if I was to select this from my DVD remote on my final disc, it would simply play all the slideshows on my disc and then return to the menu. There is a play all looped button which simply plays every slideshow on your disc continuously forever, and it just doesn't go back to the menu. But we don't want that, we just want to play all, just in case we want to play all the slideshows in our disc. So if I preview my menu here, as you see, is if I highlight the play all button, you can see it underlines it. Now you can customize this in the highlights tab here by changing where it says play buttons. The default is underline. Say if you wanted a covering rectangle, if I previewed it, you can see it's now a covering rectangle. So perhaps we want it to go back to underline, but perhaps the colour's not quite correct. So if I set this to purple and preview the menu, you can see it's now purple colour. So I'm happy with that. I'll look at my second menu and I'll preview that, and I'm happy with that as well. So that's good. The next thing I'm going to show you is something called a pre-menu slideshow. Now what is this? Now when you put your final DVD into a standalone DVD player, it will normally bring up your menu. It's the first thing you see. Now there is a way in PhotoVidShow to have a little intro sequence play before your menu starts. You may see this in DVDs you buy from the shop with movies on it. They have a little intro sequence shown, little intro slideshow if you like shown, before the initial menu shown. You can do this in PhotoVidShow as well. So what you need to do is right click the little tick next to the disc menu and select something called Disc Intro. So you see it's got a description here of what I've just said, and if you do want a disc intro on your project, or your output disc, sorry, just click there. And what you can do here is simply create your slideshow as an intro sequence which will be shown before your first menu. It only gets shown once, it's just when you put the disc in, it comes up, it's shown, and then it will go to the menu. So we can create something, normally it will be very short and simple. So for example, I could add something like this, and then I could use one of my template designs just to introduce our disc, for example. So if we like that, and if I change the text to say something very simple like that, and then perhaps we could even add some music. There we go, we could have a little intro sequence like that, which is just shown just before our menu is started. You could also just import it from a slideshow you've done before. If you don't want a disc intro, just untick that again and it will remove it. To go back to your disc menu, well, the top disc menu, just left click there, or you can right click there and you can go to any menu or disc intro you want at any time. So what you can do now is create and burn your DVD or Blu-ray, and I've done that previously, so let me just put the disc in to show you what the output would be. Normally you would put this on your standalone DVD player and watch on TV. I'm just going to put my burnt disc back into my PC so I can quickly show you. So there we can show is our little intro sequence. As you can see, it's now started our menu, where we can just select different slideshows. We can select play all to play all our slideshows. Or we could go to Submenu and play our wedding. So there we go. I hope you've learnt a lot today. This is, as I said, the last tutorial in the series. I will be doing lots more how-to sections about PhotoVidShow. I think these tutorial videos have covered about 95% of the features in PhotoVidShow, and I hope to again see you some other time. Bye bye for now.